What's happening, people? Bramsy here and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to be watching and reacting to the new Black Ops 6 multiplayer reveal trailer. Now yes, I'm a day late to this. Obviously it did come out yesterday, so most of you have probably already seen it. I haven't actually seen it the whole way through. I've just seen clips and little bits and pieces on Twitter and things like that. So we're going to talk about pretty much everything, even things that are not mentioned in this trailer. But for a start, we're just going to go ahead and watch the entire trailer through, and then we'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit afterwards. It's kind of funny that we've gone full circle. Obviously, the last time I was making a video like this was back when I was saying, is MW3 going to be any good? We're not going to touch on that subject because it turns out to be terrible. But I have high hopes again. Yet again, another year, another set of high hopes for this game. Anyway, let's go ahead and get straight into this. Let's watch this trailer together, and then, as I say, we'll talk about it at the end.
Good evening. The Soviet Union is no more. Despite a potential for instability and chaos, these events clearly serve our national interest. Free from the specter of global conflict.
Today we celebrate the mystery of American renewal.
Something's going on. Something big.
I'm a fire starter. Terrific fire starter.
I figured if I stuck around hell long enough, I'd see the devil.
How's he look?
I'm a fire starter. Terrific fire starter.
The agency is compromised. We're being hunted from the inside.
You're the fire starter. Twisted fire starter.
You don't have to trust me, Marshal. But it might be better if you do.
Hey, it's something you should see.
What the hell are we getting into? Don't trust anyone.
To a CIA black site. Are you out of your mind?
Things got complicated.
May God continue to bless the United States of America.
Pre-order the Vault Edition and get the Hunters vs. Hunted Operator Pack, the Mastercraft Weapon Collection.
Okay, so what you just saw then was actually the gameplay reveal trailer. And to be honest, we did get to see a few snippets of things. Honestly, the game looks amazing. Looks like they're kind of bringing it straight back from like Cold War sort of era. Obviously, 1991 is set. So again, I prefer the older style Call of Duty games. They're just so much better. And obviously, Treyarch always do an amazing job. To be honest, to say we've got returning characters as well. It looked good. We've also seen a glimpse of the new movement, which we'll touch on later on in the video. And obviously returning weapons, we saw the AK-74U as well, which will be a fan favourite, of course, returning. Overall, the game looked incredible. It looked amazing in terms of its visuals, so I'm just hoping the gameplay lives up to it. Obviously, what we've got on screen now is another video we're going to watch, and this is basically the multiplayer reveal. So it's kind of like pretty much just touching on a few little things with multiplayer, and we'll talk about that afterwards. So we'll jump straight into this. For this one, I'm going to keep the face cam on. We're going to keep watching. We're going to listen to it, and we're going to talk as it goes. So let's get into it.
The Black Ops 6 user experience is all about focusing players on what they need when they need it, and our in-game HUD is no different. From the mini-map to the ammo widget to in-game notifications, the Black Ops 6 HUD combines some of our best designs in
the game looks clean.
Streamlined experience.
Game looks clean.
For the first time in Call of Duty, players will be able to change their HUD in dramatic ways to suit their needs. For instance, streamers can choose a layout optimized for their setup, or maybe you want your HUD centered so you don't have to look away.
Wow.
Want to play hardcore anywhere, or finally put the mini-map in the bottom left? Those are options as well. Not only does the HUD give players important status, it connects them to the world and helps them feel rewarded for being awesome. As players track that
I mean, look, I'm all up for customization, right? I like customization. The more things, the better, the more you can do. I'm not too sure how much that's really going to change. I like the idea they've kind of thought about streamers and content creators in the fact that we can move the HUD to accommodate to what our setups are. That's a cool feature. Again, the more features, the better, the way I see it with things like that. You know, it's better to give more than to restrict. At the same time, I can't see it changing too much. Like, I can't see many people really worrying about where their radars are, I suppose. A lot of people are going to be used to having it in the top left as well. So, you know, as I say, the customization thing is great. Like, at the moment, obviously in Call of Duty, we currently have the different color schemes you can do, which again is a really cool idea nonetheless. I just can't see it being a huge thing that we focus on, but, you know, I'm all for it nonetheless.
elusive challenge or target their next level unlock, Black Ops 6 delivers an end-to-end experience.
Classic red dot sight by the looks of it. Lovely.
Into combat and back, where player progress and
Hang on.
achievement.
Go back. Go back.
Track that elusive challenge.
I need
or
to
target
double
their
check
next
something.
level unlock. Black Ops 6 delivers an end-to-end experience from the lobby into combat and back.
There we go. Do we have a classic attachment system? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That looks like 10 slots. If you include the 2 extra little bits at the end. Do we have 10 slots for attachments? I'm only kidding. I've actually read that we don't. It looks like we do, though. But it looks like there's a specialist and a wild card situation going on. But the gunsmith does look good. It doesn't look too chaotic. To be honest, it looks very similar to what we currently have. I don't think that will change too much, judging by what I'm looking at here. Obviously, as you can see, you've got the different variant points on the actual weapon where you can change the attachments. It looks like we obviously have more slots by the looks of it. Like, more than 5, which is, I think, what we have currently. But I know for a fact it's not 10, so... You know, we can hope, eh?
Where player progress and achievement are celebrated in a big way.
Okay, that... Sorry, we're going to do a lot of this going back and forth here. That was the UI.
From the lobby into combat and back, where player progress
Let me
and
see if I can
achievement
catch
are
that just in time.
celebrated in a big way.
Okay, that there is the UI. So that's what it looks like when you join a game. So very simplistic, a lot better than MW3 currently. And to be honest, that looks it looks basically just like Cold War in that sense. Very similar to that in the way you search games. Obviously, Nuketown is then confirmed as well at the bottom, as you can see there, which is great news. Obviously, everyone likes Nuketown. You can't go wrong with that. So, yeah, the UI looks pretty tasty. Looks pretty good, to be honest with you. It looks very simple, very clean, and that's what we all like. Okay. It looked like broadcast. I don't think it is, but it looked like it. If it was. Progression.
Early on in Black Ops 6's development, we set a goal to make leveling and XP matter more than ever.
Yeah, let's
Looking
do it.
back through the Call of Duty and Black Ops catalog, there's a lot of love, both internally at Treyarch and that we see in our community, for how we used to handle prestige.
You get what I
Traditional
think?
prestige is back in Call of Duty with Black Ops 6. We've pulled the best of the best from past Call of Duty prestige systems and are going bigger and more rewarding than ever. Players who reach max player level will have the choice to enter prestige, start fresh with relocked gear, and go through the leveling journey again. Black Ops 6 will have 10 prestiges, each
10.
with a valuable set of rewards.
Right. I just want to point out that COD fans have wanted this for, I want to say, probably the last, like, fucking 8 years, the last time I can remember. It makes pubs so much more entertaining. Like, even as a competitive COD player, you look back at some of the pub games that we've had in the past, and to be honest, like, even now, right, on MW3, I'm like level 600 and something. I'm not even paying attention to it. There's no reward system with it. There's no interest in paying attention to your level with this. There was always that interest. There was always that, I want to get to the next stage so I can then prestige and I can then do it all over again and go up and up and up. It gives incentive to me to play pubs in the first place. Honestly, the fact they're bringing this back and it's 10 prestiges like what it normally is, chef's kiss.
To earn and equip to peacock your status. Players who make it through Prestige 10 aren't done. Instead, they'll graduate into Prestige Master with 1,000 additional levels to climb through.
Okay, so that was probably what Prestige Master looks like.
And a
But it's good that we have that.
to uncover for
M16
anyone
looks like it's
dedicated enough to
confirmed.
make it all the way to the end.
It's
the
amazing.
full Prestige system is available on day 1 in Black
That's
Ops
what we
6.
want. That's what we want. None of this complicated shit. Okay. Movement looks good.
We know how many of our players look forward to multiplayer, and we will be providing a deep dive on it later in the year. For now, here's some insight into our development of Black Ops 6
That's what we want. We want insight. We want insight
our vision
now.
Since day one has been to craft an approachable and engaging step change of that signature Black Ops multiplayer experience.
Okay.
We focused on supporting 3 core playstyles for launch. Enforcers are the slayers who like to kill and stay on the move. Recon is all about intel and counter-intel play. And strategists are support players who throw their bodies at objectives for the win.
We love our support players, by the way. Keep that shit up.
All of our weapons, gear, and gadgets in multiplayer have been intentionally designed through that lens of supporting these play styles. And of course, it wouldn't be a Black Ops game if you can't relive those action hero moments in theater mode, which we're happy to announce is returning with
Bringing
Black
back
Ops
theater
6.
mode is huge, by the way.
I said we're only getting a taste of MP today, but of course that means you're going to get some early details on maps.
Okay. Map design's huge. It's crucial to compare with COD.
We're happy to announce that we will be launching with 16 all-new MP maps.
It's decent.
12 core 6v6 and 4 strike maps, which can be played at
That's a good amount of maps on release, to be fair.
What do players like? What do we know that they want? So we're back to our classic 3-lane maps. We've got
You heard the words, right? 3-lane maps. We're back. Competitive COD might actually be back. COD might be revived. Hang on.
fast, frenetic experiences, and we have that balance with more medium size, like better for hardcore pacing to keep the action flowing, but still have meaningful decisions for the player to make. The maps have their own stories, and we have multiplayer taking place after the campaign, after you finish it. So don't want to get into too many spoilers there, but you'll experience some of those locations through the multiplayer lens.
Right, let's talk about this. Okay, so after watching all that, let's have a discussion. So a couple of things. One thing that wasn't mentioned in those trailers, but was in the massive 23-odd minute reveal, was that the movement has now changed. We've got something in-game now called Omni Movement. Omni Movement basically means you can sprint left and you can sprint right. You can kind of, every direction you can sprint and dive, which is one of those things where I personally don't necessarily like it. However, I'm all for Call of Duty adding new things to the game to spice it up, to make it that bit more interesting. I'm sure it's going to be one of those things that you can toggle on and off anyway. I mean, I'm pretty sure they've already announced that you can have that on and off. Obviously, within the competitive scene, I think that they might end up actually GAing that and having it off personally. But, I mean, you know, it could be a whole new skill gap that we have to learn. And that could also be quite fun. So it definitely could be something that's implemented later on. Either way, I'm not fully against it yet. Okay, that's a big yet. It could be, but I'm all up for new things. The era in which it's set, 1991, perfect, absolutely perfect. To be honest, these sorts of CODs usually end up doing better than the modern ones as such. Obviously, you go back to MW2, Call of Duty 4, those sorts of times, MW3. Those Modern Warfare games were done right. I don't know how to explain it. And I mean MW2 is in 2009. Those games were, 2009, 2011, wasn't it? Something like that. Those games were done well in the modern era, taking in, you know, like kind of how we know it now. Whereas the Modern Warfare series currently is just too much. I mean, we haven't had a decent Modern Warfare for the last 2 years. MW2 was terrible. MW3 is probably worse. Obviously opinion-based, but probably worse. And these games always do well. I mean, Cold War was fantastic. Cold War was done so well, considering that was a game where they didn't have much time to even make that. It's impressive, like actually impressive to do what they done. So when you give them the time, I've just realised in this picture is zombies, by the way, at the background there. There are zombie characters, if you guys didn't know. I have that confirmed, and zombies is back to round-based. Sorry, anyway, I got sidetracked. The weapons are usually more fit to the time frame that they're in, so they feel a lot better. Just everything about older style games just feel better. As I say, Cold War was such a good game, and Vanguard was good for what it was. Comparatively questionable, but for what it was good. Obviously, you heard it here first. We have 10 prestiges plus Prestige Master and level 1000. That's what COD players have wanted for, I honestly want to say, like the last 8-9 years. We've been waiting for that for so long, and it's crazy that we've gone as far as we have without that information. I don't feel like we should have actually had COD games without that prestige system. Like I say, rank at the moment is completely meaningless. whereas that gives an incentive to pubs. Obviously, we have absolutely no idea what a competitive COD scene is going to look like with this game. However, them saying that their map focus is going to be 3-lane maps is so promising to us. That gives us the chance to have pretty much most maps up for the question of competitive play, which is something that we haven't had in COD in years. You know, we're having to pick the best out of a bad bunch at the moment. In the last 2 CODs, that's literally how we've had to do things, and for the first time ever, it looks like we're going to have quite a lot to pick from, which is nice. Obviously, we haven't seen the maps yet, so the design could be poor, and we'll do more of a future update video on that as we get the information. But for the most part, it looks great what we're seeing so far. I've seen all sorts of things about this game that basically try and drag it backwards towards the older style of CODs, which we've all preferred in the past. As I say, same with the attachment system now being 10. There's a wildcard system, 3 perk slots. Exactly how it should be. You know, Call of Duty went down this path of trying to make something that they weren't. And, you know, even the map design, we were creating maps for like 12v12, trying to be just like another Battlefield. And it does feel like we're now heading back towards this arcade-style shooter. And I do think they listen massively to X-Defiant, right? People talk about X-Defiant, obviously, whether the game's a flop or not, whether it done well, whether it didn't do well, because it's still being spoken about. But at the end of the day, people were hyped about X-Defiant, and that's because we had an arcade shooter for the first time in years, you know, because COD hasn't provided us with that experience. And it does feel like we might be heading back this way, and Call of Duty might now provide us with that experience that we've been looking for so long. So it might actually revive the series. The big but is, I say this every year, I am convinced every year that we are going to get a solid COD that's going to do well, and it's just going to be that game that we want to see, that we want to play on a day-to-day, continuous basis. And what I don't want is to be let down. And I think until such point, until I see like multiplayer trailers, like proper multiplayer trailers where I start seeing the maps and everything else, I can't really confirm or deny. Currently though, if you ask me, I would personally say this is probably going to be the best COD we have seen in probably the last 8 years. And that's not an exaggeration, but there's still a lot to come from the Call of Duty account themselves and what they're going to show us, and obviously a lot can change in that time. But that's going to be it for me, guys. That's going to be my review on just kind of the first looks at this new game. Honestly, it looks amazing. It can't be much worse than what we have now, and Treyarch always come through with the goods, so I just have to hope that they're going to do exactly that this time. But as I say, we will update as we get more information as we go ahead. Anyway, guys, it's been your boy Bramsy. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.